Kenya Devolution CSO Working Group is an umbrella network of all the 47 county level CSO networks. So we have 47 counties, and each county has a county level civil society organizations network. I'm sure if you come from a county, probably you know of one or two networks. So the Kenya Devolution CSO Working Group brings together all these 47 county level CSO networks for primary objective of championing effective implementation of devolution. When Governor walked in, I told him he's our champion number one. Why am I saying that? If we were forming an army to go to speak to Treasury to release funds almost immediately for the financial year 25-26, probably would make Governor Baraza our commander. Let's clap for him. I'm saying that because I know the fights he has fought in terms of speaking for COG authoritatively on the financial situation of counties and what needs to be done. So the working group's objective is to create a platform where we can have conversations around implementation of devolution, especially informed by the objects of devolution, Article 174. I'm saying object of devolution because for us, the promise of devolution means a lot for citizens. Devolution is a lifeline for citizens. Think about the services citizens expect of county governments. Clean, safe, and adequate water. Those are rights enshrined in our constitution. Access to affordable, adequate, and quality healthcare services. Uko mashinani, the first line of defense when it comes to our health is the county government. The structures put right from the primary healthcare upwards. Agriculture and food security. You say food is life. So if counties don't operate optimally, then we have a problem with our existence at the very core. So this network exists to amplify the voice of citizens on effective implementation of devolution. And just to be very clear, our motto is devolution must work.
It is very difficult at times to talk about my country at a time like this, because we all know what ought to be done and we all know what is not working, and we keep on asking ourselves, really, what are we bewitched? Is it that we are incompetent, or we just don't give a damn? Because we all know that the best part of our constitution is the part on devolution. We all know that. We all know that between 380 to 400 billion goes to our counties. We all know that. And therefore the disconnect here is, where then is the problem? Because after the pumping of billions for the past 13 years or so, then the expectation is that we would all be living in heaven, small heavens across the country. That is not the case. But like I said in the morning, again, we have to be appreciative of the fact that we've come from very far as a country, and we are really making strides as a country. We do not expect to hit the high notes immediately, but our expectation is that the next generation will find this country good enough for them not to be going to Saudi Arabia or to Yemen or to go to sell drugs in Myanmar, because the country will be so well taken care of by the leadership across the country and at the national level that our young people will have a country to be proud of.
The COG has embraced the agenda to listen to Wanjiko. How well is that going? What needs to be improved? Already in preparation of this conference, there's been intense consultation with civil society. How has that gone? So as we continue our deliberations, please be thinking about what has worked, what have we done well that we need to do more of, and what do we need to do better? Because we want actionable solutions. We don't want to be a talk shop.
Ugatuzi hauwezi fanikiwa bila kuhusisha kikamilifu asasi za kijamii. Mnakubaliana na mimi? Ikiwa nakubaliana na mimi, basi clap once. Kwa sababu asasi za kijamii ni kio cha jamii. Kwa sababu asasi za kijamii ndizo zinahusiana kwa ukamilifu na wananchi. Na nadhani kila mtu atakubaliana na mimi nikisema ya kwamba sauti za wananchi lazima zisikizwe. Ama vipi wenzangu? Na kwa hivyo ndio sisi kama ubalozi wa Denmark, wakati tulikuwa na mkutano na asasi kadhaa hapa, uraia na wale wengine, walikuja na wakatuuliza, kuna jambo ambalo tunaweza fanya pamoja ili kuweza kuunganisha asasi za kijamii za kuhusiana na ugatuzi. Na tukasema ndio, kwa sababu tunajua ya kwamba tukiweza kuwa na vikundi hivi tutaweza basi kusema ya kwamba sauti za Wakenya zinaweza kutekelezwa katika ugatuzi.
We decided that all the functions which have not been devolved should be unbundled, should be costed, and then transferred to counties pursuant of the principle of subsidiary transfer, because the functions must be accompanied by resources. So this principle of subsidiarity is very clear. We know very well that when the ECD functions were transferred to counties, the functions were not costed. So we find counties are undertaking the ECD infrastructure without the costing. So having taken stock of that, we said we need a fresh start. And I'm very happy that pursuant of the resolutions of last devolution conference, at least there's some progress. Number one, the 14 functions have been unbundled. There was delineation that was done and gazettement of those 14 functions which are devolved. Now the next conversation is now the issue of the costing. Of course, there was initial costing that was done by IGRTC, giving us almost 258 billion Kenya shillings, which we are now wanting to go step by step just to confirm that these functions that have been costed, what are the attendant resources, function by function.
On devolution, there was a question on devolution as to how citizens think the direction devolution is moving 13 years down the line. And this is what we found out in March. 48% of Kenyans said we are on the right direction, which means we were not 50%. However, the survey July, August, it increased to 50, which means now 50% of Kenyans are saying we seem to be on the right track. A good movement. About 67% of the respondents in August, July, August, who said we are on the right direction, were of the view that the reason why we are on the right direction is because their devolution has taken services closer to them. 68% of Kenyans indicated that they are not satisfied with the accountability in the use of public funds by both levels of government. And subsequently, 75 of them say tenders is a big problem. They disagree with the way tenders are managed, which is an indication that tendering process is one of the biggest problems when it comes to use of public resources.
The formula that we are using to do the financial resourcing, we are looking at budget rationalization, not scientific formula. So we are looking at the budget for the last 3 or 5 years and doing an average to identify where then these resources have been budgeted for. And that process, if you ask for the timeline, we expect, like I said, it is a commitment by the president, it is a resolution by the summit that in the next CFSP, in the next fiscal strategy paper, in the next MTF from September this year, that should be considered, and we expect the budget consideration for the next budgetary estimates.
74% of Kenyans say that they want the resources belonging to counties for county functions to be released immediately. And Daktari has explained the process in detail and where they are at. And my question to you is that what measures do you think that the State Department should be taking to advance the finalization of the transfer of functions?
Functions have been transferred even before the county governments came in 2013. Are you aware of that? By 1st of February 2013, 1 month to the elections, functions have been transferred. Again, transferred twice in 2013. That is August in 2013. Then in 2014, transfer was made again in January. In 2015, in 2016, in January, again it was made. That was by TA. IGRTC did transfer about 3 times, I think. One on betting and casinos, another one on libraries, and the recent bulk transfer. These transfers does not all mean new functions, as been stated. It means clarification of some elements.
The budget making process, usually we talk about activity-based, but because the costing now informs that conversation, I think it will make it easier for the key players in the budget making process, starting from the Commission of Revenue Allocation, before they even propose any amount that is supposed to go to the counties and the national government. That will form the basis. Right now, there are many functions which counties are implementing, but they have not been costed. So when this process is fully done, we expect most of the functions now to be undertaken effectively by the counties, because we shall be having attendant resources.
What the Commission is doing, because of the overwhelming nature of the cases of corruption, as a matter of fact, there are so many cases that we get. It is possible that wananchi can be frustrated. Why have we not finalized all of them? We have, using the strategic direction that we have now to go into serious cases as per the direction, so that we deal with those which have the highest impact. For one, we want to see how to recover assets which have been lost through corruption, and we see these assets which are need to be recovered are with us in the public. The people who are working in the county governments, we're talking about overnight millionaires, and we have to follow the money. This also adds to other assets like land. I had the president mention about the land, which is has been now been gazetted. We have a lot of land loss, because even the projects we are talking about, we are not going to have the land. Number two, we are now also training our guns on specific projects, high value projects, so that we are able to follow the high value projects. Number three, we have also the issue of working in partnership. When I hear the CSOs with the kind of resolution you are saying, you are going to start your courts, you are going to start, if done in the right structured way, it gives pressure to the public officers, us who are in the public. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you need to give that pressure. So we can work in partnership in terms of educating the people, so that we are able to have, again, more through those kind of action.
For the county assembly to engage effectively in oversight is because of lack of knowledge and support and goodwill from the people, and also from the public, the leaders, the community leaders. I would say this because I cannot oversight unless I know where this money goes to. And therefore, if I do not participate in the budget making process, do not know the activities that are being assigned money on, I might not be in a position to better oversight these resources. It starts from there, the knowledge of where these resources is going to. Once I am aware, then I know when I'm doing my oversight, I'll go back and get to understand where has this money been utilized.
Let's talk about health. About 300 billion is given for health. 150 billion is left with the national government. 150 billion is given to be shared by 47 counties. We are talking about only about 4 hospitals. That is Kenyatta Referral, Moi Referral, Luseke-Bake, and the fourth one. And then we are talking about all the other hospitals, the main hospitals in the county, they are actually left to share the half. I think that is another question we should actually be asking us basically.
I would like to advise you, even there, I haven't seen anything talking about youth. At least whenever you do the program of devolutions, try to consider us. At least you find that some youth, they are trying their best to attend the meeting, even without allowance, because Youth mumetusahau, jensi mutukumbuke, mukipanga mpango, at least tukue part and parcel of the meeting. Thank you.
What is so hard to comply with the law that you have put in place, like the PFM, like the constitution that you have? What is so hard? Because we have, even the president had alluded that so many laws have been passed, and even the chair for the county assembly. I'm so much disturbed that the county has become so much difficult to comply with the best practice and to adhere. And that one will only come when you have good political will.
Who are these senators? Who are these county MCAs? They are people we have elected. One of the biggest blow to the issue of corruption is the leaders we elect. And those leaders come from us, me and you, and the Mwananchi. Let us look at that.
On civil society, we have a duty to protect the right of citizens. So when we are co-opted too much that you cannot function, then that is where we are failing. That's what I said. And when you fail at that extent, you don't no longer serve the interest you're supposed to serve. You and me knows that all of us here, people build hotels with our money, and we go to those hotels. I'm sure you must be working with ethics and corruption, or that agency on that matter, or agent of an institution that supposed to provide oversight. If you get to your county, people take your money, build a hotel. You even civil society still go to those hotels to give their business. Is that not conspiracy enough?
The gap in the IGRA and IGR space is the lack of effective intergovernmental relations unit in the counties. As we speak, there are very few counties that have a collaborative framework between the county government and national government agencies within that county. The same also goes to implementation of national policies by county governments and vice versa. National government agencies implementing county government policies. That would be the straightforward. Secondly, to the issue that was raised by I recognize him, the county secretary for Nyandarua, on the issue of the functions. I think the issue of matching, being able to say how much money is retained for what level of functions in either level of government goes to two things. One, do we have a standard of service delivery in this country? Have we established proper costing of the functions in this country? I would say no. So that is where we have a problem, where through the budget making process, the National Assembly and Senate, same also to the county assemblies, what is the basis of the allocation of those resources? So there is no basis, there is no standard that we are using for us to be able to say how much are we allocating to either level.
These are not necessarily new conversations. Some of them are, long-standing issues, but fresh perspectives coming out. So one, we noted that with the Council of Governors, there is now a need for them to be more intentional about engaging civil society and the public on an ongoing basis. And that may require a discussion between a review of this process and an agreement on how the COG, as part of this conference, can be more effective in engaging civil society and the public. We also looked at the issue of functions and the funding, and said that there was a proposal by the Civil Society Devolution Working Group that the funds should be incorporated in the forthcoming budget, so that the process that's ongoing should have those funds already incorporated. The position we got from IGRTC is that this will be part of the next year funding. So maybe we need both. We need some money this year, and we need the MTEL. I can see the CEO is saying it's not possible, but we know with political will it is all possible. So maybe there is need for a discussion on how this issue can be unlocked, because it's an ongoing promise. We also looked at the legislative, the omnibus bill and the public participation bill, and recognized this is a role of parliament, but there is need for some collaboration between the working group and the stakeholders to see how do we prioritize and make this compelling.